Scott Summers, the first X-Man, the leader who carried the weight of a people, the revolutionary who divided an entire world. His story is one of tragedy, discipline, and transformation, and it begins with loss. This is the complicated history of Cyclops. Scott Summers was born into tragedy. His parents, Christopher and Catherine, were forced to save their children by pushing Scott and his brother Alex out of a burning plane. A parachute opened, but the crash left Scott in a coma, his brain injured in a way that would prevent him from ever controlling his mutant power. When his optic blasts first erupted, they weren't beams of heat or lasers. They were pure concussive energy, exploding from his eyes like a living weapon. He couldn't stop it. He couldn't close it off. Every time he opened his eyes, destruction followed. Orphaned, isolated, and branded as dangerous, Scott lived a childhood of fear and rejection. It wasn't until Charles Xavier found him that his curse became something greater. Under Xavier, Scott became Cyclops, not just a boy with a burden, but the first recruit of the X-Men. Xavier didn't just give him a visor, he gave him purpose, discipline, and a dream worth fighting for. From the very beginning, Xavier saw Scott as more than a student. He saw him as a leader. While others acted on instinct, Scott studied the field like a chessboard. Every blast, every move, every retreat was calculated. His visor wasn't just a weapon, it was a symbol of control, of discipline, of responsibility. The X-Men were a family of wildly different personalities: the rebellious Wolverine, the godlike Storm, the unpredictable Beast. But when the battle began, they all looked to one man for orders. Cyclops wasn't the flashiest mutant, he wasn't the strongest, but he was the one who turned chaos into victory. As the team evolved, Cyclops became the blueprint for what it meant to be an X-Man. Not just power, but precision. His burden was heavy, making life or death decisions in seconds. Knowing that if he failed, his friends would die. He was the anchor of the X-Men, and the one they trusted to lead them into the fire. But no amount of control could prepare him for what came next. Jean Grey, the woman Scott loved, became the host of the Phoenix Force, a cosmic entity of creation and destruction. At first, it made her stronger, godlike even, but that power was too much for any human to contain. The Phoenix twisted her, corrupted her, until Jean became something else, the Dark Phoenix. For Scott, it was a nightmare. His love, his partner, his equal, now stood as one of the deadliest beings in the universe. And the cruelest part was that it wasn't fully Jean's fault. The Phoenix amplified her every emotion, every desire, every buried darkness. Scott led the X-Men into battle, not against an enemy, but against the woman he couldn't stop loving. Every optic blast he fired, every order he gave, cut him in half. And when Jean chose to sacrifice herself to save the universe from her own power, it broke him in a way no battlefield ever could. The Dark Phoenix saga wasn't just the story of Jean Grey's death. It was the story of Cyclops losing the light that gave his life meaning.